Well, hello and welcome to another episode of The Sweet Spot, brought to you by the Racing Post in association with Free Super Tips. I'm Dave Clark, he's Steve Palmer, and we're here to talk all things golf. Steve, how are you?
Good morning, Dave. Yes, I'm okay, thanks. The pattern has continued, isn't it? It was a bad week last week, Dave. Good week, bad week, good week, bad week. If you go on holiday, you're guaranteed a good week, but working weeks, that pattern continues. So, yeah, hopefully continues this week with a good week.
Well, tough going last week. We'll look back on both the events before looking forward, but both winners quite tough to find, three figures and maiden winners as well.
I think you're absolutely right, Dave. Yeah, I think it's been a fortnight of that. Bookies benefit over the last fortnight because four really tough to find winners. So, we're hoping for better this week. It'll be a good week to have a good week this week, Dave, because four tournaments to preview. You can change your life when there's four golf tournaments taking place, Dave.
You can, and you can also get locked and loaded for what I'd call the Fezzy next week. The Cheltenham Festival kicks off next week as well. So what better way and timing to boost the old bank balance and betting balance? Here on the Racing Post YouTube channel, we've got you covered. All sorts of shows in the morning, during the day, in the night, whatever you want. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe. Whether it be horse racing, we've got the assist on a Thursday. We're here on a Tuesday covering the golf. We've got In the Know, the whole lot. We'll have you covered for the Cheltenham Festival. So make sure you are locked in to the Racing Post YouTube channel. Right, we'll start with looking back on last week, shall we, Steve? Because we've got four tournaments to preview, as you mentioned. We'll go in chronological order, because I know you like to do that. We'll go to the South African Open. 275 to 1 winner here.
Yeah, I think there was a bit more available. Yeah, 300 to 1 if you shopped around. 27-year-old South African. Brilliant birdie at the first playoff hole. We must mention how this happened. You know, we mentioned that the course was on a floodplain, Durban Country Club, and they improved the irrigation system, but the weather was terrible. Sunday's play completely blown out, apart from a playoff with the two names that were tied for the lead after 3 rounds. So Dylan Nadeau and Laurie Cantor. And Dylan Nadeau, brilliant chip at the final hole, the playoff hole. He'd won once on the Sunshine Tour, but very difficult to find. DP World Tour breakthrough. You had to be happy for him. He was all smiles afterwards. Life-changing win, DP World Tour card. But for the punting community, it was a stinger.
Yeah, interesting fact that when he was growing up, he learnt to play golf with his dad. I'd imagine most, if not all, pros have had a member of their family who's already into golf, kind of coaches them. But his dad didn't have a clue either, so they learnt together. And now he's a tour winner.
Yeah. No, he seems a lovely lad, and I'm delighted for him. I was pleased he beat Laurie Cantor, to be honest, because I spent a long time at the start last week mulling over whether to stay on the Cantor train. We backed Cantor for everything this year, and that course right up his street. So, I was pleased that it didn't cost me a winner just ignoring Cantor last week. And then your mate played well, didn't he?
I was going to say, what a week for the Sweet Spot's own Dow Whitnell. I kept in touch with Dow. I don't like to message him too much during tournaments. Sometimes I can speak to him kind of on a Friday afternoon because I know he's not up to much at the weekend, but I knew he was going to be this week. He was sending me videos of all sorts of rainfall, monsoons, downpours going on. But 2 hole-in-ones in 1 round. And he's in good nick. You look back through his form in his career, some of his very best golf has been played in this part of the world.
Oh, it was an astonishing round of golf, wasn't it? On round 2, I was watching all the coverage on round 2. 2 holes in 1, 3 eagles. He also made an eagle at a par 5. He had a double bogey on the scorecard. Did you see it when he tried a flop shot and he went completely underneath the ball and it didn't move at all? It went backwards a little bit. So it's the most ridiculous round of golf. He would have been heartbroken that the final round was washed out. I felt for Dale Whitnell because he was in position to make the late charge and potentially win the tournament. I felt for Dale Whitnell. I felt for Marco Penge. Did you follow the Marco Penge story? I mean, Marco Penge is one of us. I mean, Dale Whitnell's one of us. Marco Penge is a punter, Dave. He was a punter. He was a punter because he got banned.
Returned from the ban. Yeah.
He returned from the ban. Yeah, the DP World Tour banned him for a couple of months because he'd been betting on other tournaments. He wasn't betting on tournaments that he was in. There was no skullduggery going on. It was a very harsh ban, if you ask me. But they've got this integrity program where the players aren't allowed to bet on golf. And he was having a few little tickles on majors and whatnot. His average stake was £24, but it cost him 2 months of his DP World Tour career, but he's come back from the ban, refreshed and buzzing. He was 20th in Kenya, 3rd last week. So Marco Penge back on track. And Christian Maas, talk about Christian Maas, very promising young South African amateur. We were mulling over whether we were going to get 2 amateur winners last week, weren't we? Christian Maas finished 4th. I think if the final round had been played, I don't think Dylan Nadeau would have been smiling. I think either Laurie Cantor or Christian Maas would have won that. And maybe Brandon Stone would have got a place. I was hoping they play that final round because I thought Brandon Stone would get into the places, but never mind.
Yeah, an impressive display, as you're saying, that playoff nonetheless. The pitch was a thing of beauty there to win it. So well done to Dylan Nadeau. And Dale's keeping his pecker up. I've said to him, look, good signs. Maybe that next win's round the corner. And he's in the field this week as well. So maybe we'll throw a little bit of shrapnel each way on him. He's in good spirits.
I'm surprised he's got any money left, Dave. I mean, if you get 2 holes in one and you go to the clubhouse on the Friday night, I mean, how many drinks you got to buy for that? He's
all right. Listen, I wouldn't mind being a pound behind him. He's okay. It's not his first rodeo getting the drinks in. I can assure you of that. So he's a good lad, Dale. So we wish him well. Right, let's move to the Cognizant Classic, won by Joe Highsmith, another 3-figure win. I think 100 to 1 was advertised in the Racing Post, 19 under. What a way as well to win your title. This is one of them, Steve, where we'll have our bets before the tournament. And Friday is looking pretty grim. You might scrape through, make the cut, and think, oh, maybe we'll get a place. This guy's on the number, and 64 wins it.
Absolutely, yeah. Very rarely happens. I mean, I always remember Rory McIlroy when he won his maiden PGA Tour title at Quail Hollow. That was from the cut line. I think it's happened 3 times in the last 15 years where a player has scraped through and won. He had a really ticklish putt to get through. They were talking about that in his post-round media conference. So he held a really good par putt to get through. And then, as you say, back-to-back 64s. He's an interesting character. He's a left-hander, funny hat. Joe LaCava Jr. is his caddy. So Tiger Woods' old caddy's son is Joe Highsmith's caddy. Decent player, but really hard to find. So you had a 300 to 1 winner in South Africa, 100 to 1 winner there. I don't think many punters would have backed him. Well done if you did identify his chances. You talk about Friday. I mean, Daniel Berger, we had high hopes for Daniel Berger early on. It was like a slow, painful death for Berger back at 63, 68, 70, 72. He went for it a bit over the closing holes and finished out the places. But I think Joe Highsmith seems a decent character. But Luke Clanton, we must talk about Luke Clanton as well, Dave. Are you following that?
Yes, go on.
Well, he secured his PGA Tour card by making the cut. We were on him last week, and he was up and down, and he finished 18th, but he's got his PGA Tour card now. And a lot of people are suggesting he might be good enough to get on the American Ryder Cup team. He's an impressive young player. He was in 2nd place on Sunday, Dave. I was walking Coco on Sunday, and Clanton had started the final round impressively, moved into 2nd place, tossing treats in the air for Coco, thinking, my word, Luke Clanton is going to win. But it didn't quite happen. But
it's not. I don't think we're going to have to wait long though for him to be in the winners' enclosure, are we?
No, I think you're right. He's definitely got the tools. He's got the Lord behind him. Very religious man. He often brings the Lord into interviews. So he's got everything in place for a great career. But it didn't get us any each way money last week, unfortunately. Lee Hodges was our only return, non-runner. If you backed Lee Hodges last week in a betting shop, get back down there, get your money back. He pulled out on Tuesday.
I didn't realise he was part of the God Squad. Maybe that's where we're going wrong, Steve. I don't know if you're a religious man yourself, but some of the most successful and talented golfers on the planet are part of the God Squad.
Well, it provides a bit of comfort, doesn't it? Comfort, nothing's in your control. I think it can loosen a golfer up when they think someone else is pulling the strings and they're merely a puppet.
I'm not sure, Sunday visits to church is going to stop me with my 50-yard slice somehow. But who knows? I'm open to anything.
No, I think you're doomed, Dave. You're good at snooker, but you're not good at anything else. Let's be honest.
Right, anything to add from last week? Because we have got 4 tournaments.
We must press on. It's an exciting week. Obviously, each way quadruples are available As I say, for very small stakes, you can win a lot of money this week.
Right, okay, right. What have we got then? We've got the Johannesburg Open, the Puerto Rico Open, the Arnold Palmer Invitational, and the Live Hong Kong. And we'll go in that order. You happy with that? I know you like to be chronological, Steve. You happy?
Chronological, yes. I demanded chronological order because Puerto Rico Open starts just before the Arnold Palmer Invitational. That's the one you might come unstuck on. So, yes, sir. I think you've got it right.
Right, we'll start with Johannesburg then. Talk to us about the track.
Houghton Golf Club, Johannesburg, South Africa, 7,227 yards, par 70, only 2 par 5s. The course was redesigned, reopened in 2009. It hosted the Joburg Open in 2022 and 2023. Heavy bunkering, water hazards, undulating greens, accurate iron play, the key to success as it is on a lot of Jack Nicklaus designs. The course playing really soft. Obviously, last week's event was a washout in the end. We got more showers expected in the build up to this one, but the tournament day is really promising, sunny, warm and calm for the tournament. So I think we're going to get 72 holes if we get off to a prompt start. 156 players going to post. So
we're going for a bit of length this week.
Yes. It's not an absolute bomber's paradise, but we must be aware of how soft the course is playing. I think it's going to play fairly straightforward.
Right, so have you got a key attribute then? Have we pinpointed anything for this track?
My two players both give it a lusty ride off the tee, so the weather forecast is in their favour. But I think you just need to be a strong all-rounder for this test.
Okay, right, lovely mark here. 22's the field. Jaden Shaper. Then we've got a pony, 25-1. Jordan Smith, Sean Norris. Wide open, this one, Steve. You've got 2 selections for us, so we start with 2. And who is the nap?
Yes, the number 1 pick is Casey Jarvis. 40-1 available. Strap yourself in for another ride on the Casey Jarvis roller coaster. Last week's ride ended prematurely. Rounds of 72, 69. Missed the cut on the mark. Getting out of Durban Country Club, probably a blessing in disguise here. An early exit from the soggy, waterlogged course. No dramas in that missed cut. I mean, he had an ice-cold putter throughout. Hit the ball pretty good. Remains pure class, arguably the most talented youngster in South Africa, still only 21, bags of potential, brilliant amateur. He won everything it's possible to win in South African golf. He won the South African Amateur in Johannesburg in 2020, turned pro in August 2022, made his Joburg Open debut a few months later at Houghton, rounds of 67, 63, went clear. We were on at massive prices, very excited. A pair of 71s over the weekend, tied for 9th place. Sunshine Tour Rookie of the Year. Then in 2023, raced up the world rankings, carded a 59 on the Sunshine Tour, 1 on the Challenge Tour, then finished 7th in the Alfred Dunhill. Last year, continued that progress, threatening DP World Tour breakthrough. 8th at Crancer Thiar, 6th in the Genesis Championship, 11th in the Alfred Dunhill. Solid golf this year. Only a matter of time for me, Dave. Casey Jarvis will win soon. I think he's a big fish in a small pond this week. This field is weaker than last week. Sort of almost weaker than the Kenya Open in many ways. Soft conditions, playing in his home country. There's no better bet on the Joburg Open than Casey Jarvis.
I like it. Right. So Casey Jarvis is the first of 2 there. I'm going to try and keep a track of all of these because we've got quadruples going. Who is the other selection?
Next best is Hugo Cassaud. Hugo Cassaud, also available at 40-1. Greatly impressed me last week. I love the Hugo Cassaud swing. It's technically correct, free-flowing, powerful. Did you see the eagle he made on Friday? During all that Dale Whitnell drama, Hugo Cassaud made an eagle 2 at the par 4 18th that was just a perfectly played hole. He had problems with the 5th hole last week, Dave. He played the 5th hole in 4 over par for 3 rounds. Generally excellent elsewhere, churning out greens in regulation, tied for 11th place. Hugo is a winner waiting to happen for me. Clearly enjoys his trips to South Africa. He won the 2015 South African Stroke Play Championship when he was still an amateur. He was 2nd in the Cape Town Open on the Challenge Tour in 2023. He's finished 15th in the last 2 editions of the Alfred Dunhill. Got a good record in the Dimension Data Pro-Am. And I think a soft Houghton is ideal for Hugo Casal. He can impose himself on this track. He made his Joburg Open debut in 2023. DP World Tour rookie, out of form, missed the cut. This time he's arrived in much better nick. He's 137 places better in the world rankings. He's won on the Challenge Tour. Yeah, I think he'll strongly threaten a maiden DP World Tour title on Sunday.
Okay, and his swing is technically perfect. Without going all Roy McAvoy on me, Steve, and tink up, what's the golf swing to Steve Palmer?
Oh, the golf swing's everything to Steve Palmer. You know, I used to work as an assistant professional at a golf club. I know what a technically sound technique is. I'm a real purist when it comes to the golf swing, which is, you know, when you see me swing a golf club, you will not get your head around that fact, because I do not have the ability to. I know what a good golf swing looks like, but I don't have the arms to produce it. Yeah, I'm big on good golf swings. It's very important, Dave. Yeah, I don't think I back Jim Furyk very often for that very reason. Ugo's
trained eye. The trained eye. There you go. The trained eye, very much so with Steve Palmer.
That's
right.
It.
We've got 2 selections, 4 tournaments. So I'm keen to keep the pace brisk here. We've got anything else to add in this event?
No. Let's keep it brisk. I mean, I could add all sorts, but no, I've got a great strategy for this week, Dave. We're going to have 2 tips. Have I told you this already? We've got 2 tips in every event. So we've got 8 tips in total. 2. Yeah, that offers up all sorts of opportunities for you, as I'm sure you're aware.
Okay, right, lovely. Let's move then to Puerto Rico. That is where we're off to next, Steve. Again, 22 to 1 the field here. Wide open contest. Tell us about the track.
Yes, Grand Reserva Golf Club, Rio Grande, Puerto Rico, 7,506 yards, par 72, 4 par 5s. It's hosted since 2008. A flat track, paspalum grass fairways, sunny, hot, calm weather expected. This course looks vulnerable to me. Going to get some low scoring. A field of 132 going to post.
Yeah, remiss of me to mention, I must say, Joburg Open, Dow Whitnall, 125 to 1. So there you go. In case you want to add a third wheel to your staking plan, 125 to 1. Right. Puerto Rico, it's 22 to 1 the field. We know we've got 2 selections. Who's the main pick?
Pearson Coody. 35 to 1, Pearson Coody. Another rising star of the sport. We got plenty of sweet spot regulars going into battle for us this week. We've always had faith in Casey Jarvis. We've always had faith in Pearson Coody. Nearly won the ISCO Championship for us, you remember, a juicy price last summer. I'd probably be retired if he'd won that. I was reflecting this morning that I'd probably be retired if he won that, because that was a week before the Open Championship. So the following week we had the Chauffeur Dunlap double. And the stake on that one would have been much juicier for me had Coody won. But Coody lost in a playoff, a late night playoff. And that was the second time that he threatened a PGA Tour breakthrough last year. He finished 5th in Colonial in the Charles Schwab. This is a 25-year-old. He's got all the tools to become a PGA Tour champion. He's a former world #1 amateur. Sound the former world #1 amateur. Claxon Dave went on to become a prolific winner on the Corn Ferry Tour. 1 win on the Corn Ferry Tour in 2022, 2 wins in 2023. One of those wins came in Panama, which is, relatively speaking, not far from Puerto Rico. Last year started with 5 consecutive missed cuts for Coody as a PGA Tour rookie. He stopped the rot here, 32nd place in the Puerto Rico Open. Then he finished 18th in the Corrales Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic, also a paspalum grass venue. So that revival was happening. He ended the year with 12th place in the Bermuda Championship in November. This year, he's been excellent on the Corn Ferry Tour in the Bahamas, Panama, and Colombia. 7th in the Bahamas, 7th in the Bahamas, 9th in Panama, 2nd in Colombia. A pair of 69s last week to miss the cut on the mark in the Cognizant Classic. And he's had 5 days between that missed cut and Puerto Rico. Very important to mention this because there's been lots of things happening between the end of last week's tournaments and the start of this week's. Some players have got distractions, which I'll come to later, but Coody's had 5 clear days to prepare for Puerto Rico.
Oh, there you go. Just listing some of the places he's been playing. It's a tough old gig, isn't it, being a pro golfer? Even on the Corn Ferry Tour, all over the place. Beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but tropical islands. He's been doing well on tropical. Coody's been playing well on tropical islands lately, so it's worth mentioning those venues.
Okay, right. Here's a nice big price as well. Right, who else have we got then for the Puerto Rico Open?
Adrien Dumont de Chasser, 45 to 1. Another sweet spot favourite, not just because he's got the best name in golf. Dumont de Chasser was a Corn Ferry Tour rookie in 2023. He opened that campaign with form figures of 1, 2, 8, 6, 7, 10. Never before has a PGA Tour card been secured so rapidly. It was a spectacular start to his Corn Ferry Tour career. He entered the Ryder Cup conversation that year, Dave. He entered the Ryder Cup conversation as a potential wild card because it was so incredible what he was doing on the Corn Ferry Tour. But his PGA Tour campaign last year did not go as well. The two bright spots were 6th place in the Puerto Rico Open and 3rd place in the Bermuda Championship. He likes this week's assignment. He likes island golf. He's one of the best players in the field. He started this year on the DP World Tour, you remember. We chanced him for one event of a little stretch he had on the DP World Tour. He finished 8th in the Qatar Masters a month ago. Last week, he finished 16th in the Argentina Open on the Corn Ferry Tour. I think he's a surefire Puerto Rico contender. This was the tournament day that was hardest to get down to 2. I love this 2-2-2-2 strategy, but this was the one that had me burning the midnight oil last night. There's 2 players that I was so close to backing, but I didn't in the end because of this preparation aspect that I'd like to talk to now with permission.
Yes, granted. Go on, far away.
Permission granted. Chris Gotterup and Matty Schmidt. I was very close to backing Chris Gotterup and Matty Schmidt, but both of them played in the Seminole Pro Member yesterday. This is a very prestigious event, the Seminole Pro Members. Yeah, a very rich golf club. The Seminole members are all loaded, so they get all these big guns. Tiger Woods was playing in it yesterday, and Gotterup and Schmidt were there, so that delayed their trip to Puerto Rico. And you've got, for the other tournament we'll come to in a minute, the Arnold Palmer Invitational, you've got to factor in what's been going on, because you had that Monday event. They go out in 4 balls with 2 members, 2 pros, long 5-hour rounds, and then you had TGL action this week as well, Dave. I mean, 3 TGL matches. Look at Rory McIlroy and Colin Morikawa. They both played in the Seminole Pro Member. Then they had a TGL match. I mean, they've invested a lot of mental and physical energy early in this week. And you go into an Arnold Palmer. Bay Hill is a draining experience. One of the toughest weekends you'll get on the PGA Tour is at Bay Hill. So I think you've really got to be on your game this week and know who's been where. Where
was that event on Monday?
That's in Florida. Seminole Pro-Am's in Florida. So the guys that got to get from Florida to Puerto Rico, about a 3-hour journey, I think. Obviously the Arnold Palmer's in Florida, so short journeys. But when you're Rory McIlroy and you're playing TGL, there's a lot expected of you. I think it can be. It's not just a little bit of fun, is it? You have to entertain and.
These guys are competitors. They want to win. They're not, as much as it's a bit of fun and whatever, they're trying to win as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I just prefer, everyone I've backed this week has had that clear path from the last week to this week. I don't like messing around with other stuff.
And Tiger was on the scene as well. Might we see him on the course again, competing in maybe a major event?
Yeah, he didn't play very well yesterday, unfortunately. But just nice to see him swinging a golf club. Chris Gotterup played quite well, so he's the one that's hardest to get away from because he won an amateur event at Grand Reserve in 2022. So if you want 3 strings to your bow, have Chris Gotterup, but I love this 2-2-2-2-2 formation.
All right, well, let's move on to the 3rd leg then, which is the Arnold Invitational. We are still in Florida. Did you say Billy Horschel and the Gator? Did you say that last week?
No. What happened with the Gator? Was it one of those classic situations where the Gator come out and he had to knock it down?
Well, just obviously he's a man's man and he's a West Ham fan, so he's kind of just swaggered up to this Gator and just back you go, sunshine. And they even asked him about it afterwards. He said, "I'm not afraid of Gators." He's grown up in that part of the world. Just what a man! What
it can get you in trouble.
Not Billy Horschel anymore. Just a little bit more after that. Beautiful stuff.
I'm all for a bit of courage, but courage can get you in trouble sometimes. I mean, surely you should be afraid of Gators. It's like that Millwall fan who decided to go into the Crystal Palace.
I saw that, yeah.
So the Millwall fan thinks, "Oh, right, I'm not scared of a 1,000 million Crystal Palace fans just charging in there. That's an act of lunacy, isn't it? And I think going towards an alligator with, feeling like you're invincible is an act of lunacy. But I'm glad your man survived it. He played really well in the Seminole Pro Member yesterday. I think he might have won it, actually.
This is part of the world. This is part of the world, isn't it? So
yeah. You got a chance.
Okay, right. Let's crack on then. Bay Hill, right, Steve? Tell us about the track here for the Arnold Palmer Invitational.
Yes. My Uncle Arnie, he tinkered with this track for so many years. Rest in peace, Uncle Arnie. 7,466 yards, par 72, 4 par 5s. Become a really tough test. The track it's got a sort of identity of its own now, because the weekend at Bay Hill is known as a time when the course just firms out, bakes out greens. Impossible to hold these greens over the weekend. It becomes a real test of fortitude. Churning out greens and regulation is the key to success in the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Now, 7 of the last 8 winners ranked inside the top 10 for greens and regulation. So we got an elite field. It's a signature event. 72 players. The top 50 in ties make the cut, as well as anyone within 10 shots of the lead.
As a number, what would to you feel like an excessive number of bunkers for there to be on a golf course?
I don't know, Dave. No, I don't think I'd get upset if there were 10,000 bunkers. No, I don't mind.
Now, there are 84. There are 84 bunkers at Bay Hill. You think there's only 18 holes? That feels like a lot to me, Steve.
yeah, and a great deal of aqua. There's some enormous water hazards here. I remember John Daly back in the day just kept firing balls into the water hazard at one hole, a par 5 that he thought he could cut the corner. He kept failing.
Is this not the Shambo?
Yes, it is. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. We missed a Shambo.
You see the graphic of everyone taking this route, and then there's a Tiger line, and then there's a Bryson line.
That's it. Yeah. That was a great tournament, wasn't it? You had Bryson DeChambeau and Lee Westwood, if I remember rightly. 2 livers now, put on a real show. Hopefully they'll all come back together. As we were discussing last week, Donald Trump's on a mission. He's got a few other things on at the moment. It's been an interesting week. I think golf's been at the back of his mind, but we need Bryson back in the Arnold Palmer, that's for sure.
We do. We love Bryson, so we need him back in the frame. Right, a couple of notes for this event, Steve, before we pick your brain. Course form, obviously good. Kurt Kitayama, who's a winner 2 years ago, is the first debutant to win in 33 years, I think it was, on the course. So course form, a big nod to that. And we've got the big guns here. Scottish Scheffler.
Kitayama's not here, unfortunately. Not defending. He ain't qualified. It's a harsh mistress, isn't it?
Scheffler, 2 of the last 3, a winner. McIlroy back in 2018, a winner. Runner-up in 2023. This is going to be a belter.
Oh, absolutely. No, it's an elite field. I'm very excited about this one. I know we made it 3rd in the running order here, but obviously it's the biggest event of the week.
Okay, right. We're 2 by 2 by 2. 2, 4, 8. We're up to the trebles. Who is the main selection?
Ludwig Aubert! 14-1 Ludwig Aubert. Back-to-back signature event victories are coming for Ludwig Aubert. He was awesome at Torrey Pines the week before last. Very easy to forget, Dave, that he opened with a 74 there. Still working his way back to full throttle, wasn't he? Getting back to his fighting weight. But closed with rounds of 66, 70, 66. 14 under par for his closing 54 holes at a really brutal track, Torrey Pines South. He had last week off to freshen up, count his money. He won $4 million in the Genesis. I think he's going to claim another $4 million at Bay Hill on Sunday. This is Aubert's 3rd start in the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Not many courses he's playing for the 3rd time, because he teed up in 2023 when he was still an amateur. That was just his 4th start in a PGA Tour event. He ranked 1,983rd in the world, but he finished 24th. He finished 25th last year. Only 2 players outscored him in round 3. This time, tees up as world number 4, tees up in his adopted home state, Dave. He moved into a new house with his girlfriend in November, Ponte Vedra Beach, where Tiger used to live. This is a ball-striking colossus. He's more ready than ever to handle Bay Hill. So yeah, I'm really excited about this week, Dale. I've got the cigars ready already because I feel that Aubert's going to win back-to-back Siggies. I like to call these signature events Siggies. So back-to-back Siggies for Aubert on Sunday, and then we can celebrate with some cigars.
I wonder what he's doing there. Right, yeah, the big boy Swagger, with having banked that big check, that's going to be a factor as well, isn't it?
Well, absolutely, yeah. He was counting his money last week. I wish I'd counted my Aubert winnings last week rather than reinvesting so much of it in the in the golf tournaments that were impossible to find the winner of. But yeah. Look, everything's rosy in the Ludwig Aubert world. Have you watched Full Swing yet? Full Swing season 3?
I haven't. No, I've not watched it yet.
Well, the first episode is fantastic. I've only watched 2 episodes so far. The first one has Ludwig Aubert in with his girlfriend, and he's just such a cool dude. You'll love. Yeah, the first episode is probably the best Full Swing episode I've ever seen. So tuck into that.
Okay, right. I'm not sure what's going to be in tomorrow's Racing Post now because I might get slightly distracted having been given the endorsement. Listen, it was remiss of me not to give the show before we got the selections. The Chef 7-2, our market leader. 17-2 McElroy. Ludwig Aubert. Did you quote 14?
Yeah. I think the 16s has dried out, isn't it?
Right, yeah, there is a bit of 16 out there. Morikawa 20s, but a stellar field. We're going with Ludwig. Just quickly, Steve, describe his golf swing to us with your trained eye.
Oh, sexy.
Say no more. That is perfect. Right, who is the other selection?
Sam Burns. 50-1 Sam Burns, whose maiden PGA Tour title came in Florida in the 2021 Valspar Championship. He won that tournament for a second time in 2022. He's finished 8th in the Honda Classic. He's finished 9th in the Arnold Palmer Invitational. That was in 2022. Knows how to get it around tough Florida layouts. 5-time PGA Tour champion. Relishes competition with Scotty Scheffler. We'll come to him. This week's favourite. Somebody who has won 2 of the last 3 Arnold Palmers. Most people think Scheffler is going to contend this week. Burns will relish the chance to mix it with Scheffler on the Bay Hill leaderboard. They're great friends. Burns has had the edge over him in recent meetings. Burns, underrated in the Arnold Palmer Invitational betting, in my humble opinion. I don't see how you get 50-1. He's got 13 names ahead of him in the betting with some firms. I just do not get it, because he ended last season with a wet sail, brilliant in the FedEx Cup playoffs, second in the BMW Championship was the highlight. This year he opened with 8th place in the Century, but then he's been suffering with a cold putter since then, been slow into his stride in tournaments, closed with a 66 in the Phoenix Open, closed with a 69 in the Genesis. I think he gets out the traps quicker this time, Dave, because he's on putting surfaces that he loves. He's a great putter on Bermuda greens. So yeah, I'm expecting a bit more alacrity from the traps from Sam Burns this week, and I think he'll make a mockery of his price.
How often would you back a player to be sort of first round leader and all that kind of thing, Steve? Do you get involved in them markets?
I got involved last week with Daniel Berger, and 63 typically would have been a magnificent start, but then Jake Knapp went bananas and shot 59. I mean, that course played so much easier than expected. They really have taken the sting out of that tournament with shorter rough. But I've heard that the rough at Bay Hill this week is actually longer than last year, so perhaps a reaction from PGA Tour chiefs to last week's Cognizant Classic, which was disappointingly easy. You talk about tournaments having an identity. The Honda Classic, as it was known, used to be a tough test. It's a shame that it's not. It seems to be no longer the case. But Arnold Palmer, juicy rough this week, loads of water, loads of bunkers, as you say. It should be the traditional grind.
Yeah, I mean, I just keep it in play, please. The players that are back this week, all I ask is that you keep it in play. Because there's going to be some big scores here. It feels like there's going to be some big scores. You're
absolutely right. I mean, greens and regulation is the stat to focus on, but total driving, he's not good enough to just tickle it down the fairway here, because there's some long holes, and you want to be coming into these bone hard greens with loft in your hand. So you need to be good at total driving. You need to hit long and straight.
Yeah, this was at his peak the kind of track that Dustin Johnson would just gobble up, just bomb it, and then wedge it.
Absolutely. I mean, Scotty Scheffler has become the modern king of this tournament. 2 of the last 3 years he's won this. But my concern about Scotty Scheffler is he's been a bit loose off the tee this year, isn't he? I mean, it seems crazy to think he's on a drought. He's played 3 tournaments this year, hasn't won any of them. Alarm bells are ringing in the Scheffler camp. But I think there's been he's not managed to put it all together, is he? There's been, his chipping was better last time out. He started the year chipping really poorly. He was better last time out. But I
Has there
remember
been any issues with obviously busted his hand open, didn't he? Is that known as a factor? What are we saying?
He certainly hasn't hinted that that's a factor. He's still as cool as a cucumber, but I just can't get the images of him messing around on the beach at Pebble Beach. When he drove onto the beach, didn't he? His driving has been a bit loose at times, and that'll be really punished this week. I don't think you can play the short prices. He's a really short price favourite this week. Obviously, that course record commands respect, but I just haven't seen enough from him this year. That he's just been a little bit loose in various departments. 1 week the driving's better, than the approach play's gone, and as to say, the chipping's been in and out. So there's just not enough polish about Scheffler for me to play this week, and I much prefer Ludwig Aubert. And I think Ludwig Aubert, you say he's 16-1, 14-1. He's being well back for obvious reasons. How long is it before we're struggling to get double figure prices about Ludwig Aubert for anything? For anything. I think there's three outstanding players: Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Ludwig Aubert. It might get to the stage where all three of them are going off single figure prices.
Yeah, I mean, this is one maybe for another show because we've got 4 tournaments to preview.
Yes,
but,
yeah.
The top of golf markets has been squeezed by those pesky bookmakers. I mean, you've only got to look at the Live tournament. I know it's a smaller field, but you go back 10, 15 years, Steve, and these tournaments would be 12, 14, 16, 18 to 1 the field. They're now 9-2, 5, 6, and the next one in is 7 or 8.
As you say, Dave, yeah, this is a chat for another day. I mean, the whole world's being squeezed, isn't it? Not just markets. Inflation,
shop around,
Dave.
If you can. Shop around.
Inflation. Sakir Starmer, take it up with Sakir Starmer, please.
Okay, right. I've got a long list of things to take up with Keir Starmer.
Yeah, me too.
Add it to the list. Let's talk Rory quickly as well, Steve.
Yes. Rory McIlroy. I mean, obviously, I've been really excited about the start McIlroy's made to this year. Putted abysmally last time out, and a poor putting performance can be easily forgiven. But yeah, for me, just McIlroy's preparation this week, I just don't like it. I mean, he's a proven Bay Hill performer. He won it for us in 2018, the greatest golfing year ever. But I don't like his preparation. He's played in that Seminole Pro Member event. Obviously, as you say, he wants to do well, but all eyes are on him. There's no relaxing public appearance for Rory McIlroy. Then he's gone to TGL. He's had a TGL match. I think he's going to go into Bay Hill a little bit mentally jaded for me. So yeah, I much prefer Ludwig Aubert, who's the classic big time player. You remember on his Masters debut, he turns up and most players are all giddy about playing in the par 3 competition. They actually showed him on the Full Swing episode. No interest in the par 3 competition. They showed during the par 3 competition, he's with his caddy Joe Scovran preparing for the main event. Looking at pin positions, angles of attack, etc. So Ludwig Aubert is your classic. They would have loved him to play in the Seminole Pro Member yesterday. He lives in Florida. It wouldn't have been that difficult for him. No, mate. No. There's a Siggy coming up. I'm going to go and win that.
Did he turn down an invitation then? Do we know that?
Oh, of course. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, they want all the big names. Yeah, all these loaded Seminole members want all the big names there. They get Tiger Woods, they get Rory McIlroy. Then you get Ludwig Aubert.
There has to be an aspect of, McIlroy's done this, he's done that. Whoopie do, a golfer plays golf. But you're saying that it's going to take a little bit of edge off him.
Yeah, golfer plays golf, but he's playing a golf course that he's not playing this week. I got a long list of players. Ludwig Aubert, Scotty Scheffler's another classic one. Doesn't bother with TGL. Ludwig Aubert does play TGL. He's let himself down there, but Scotty Scheffler didn't play Seminole Pro Member. He hadn't played this week though. Don't think Ludwig Aubert's playing this week. His team played this week. He refused to play because he's playing a Siggy. He's playing a Siggy. But I've got a long list of players here that Rory McIlroy's done both. He's had a TGL and a Seminole Pro Member. Colin Morikawa's done that. Keegan Bradley's done that. I've got a huge list of players that have done it there, and it was enough to put me off certain players. The closest was Chris Gotterup in that. If Chris Gotterup wins, I'm going to need a month off, I think. But
okay, right. So we are 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, 2, 4, 8, 16 each way quadruples. I know you'll be dabbling, Steve. You don't have to have a lot on small stakes here. We can cop the lot.
We could cop the lot. I mean, we've got one tournament still to come, don't you, Dave?
Yeah.
We've got one tournament still to come. Then we can get on to the each way quadruples. I'll just be having one, which is my way.
But my point here is that you could be at this point getting quite giddy and excited, right? Going into the livers.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, we've got a really exciting week ahead of us, Dave. I struggle to contain myself on weeks like this, and at the end, I'll discuss the possibilities.
Right, okay. We are off to Hong Kong. Live Hong Kong. Listen, I'll give you the market. You don't really need it. It's the same every week. John Rahm, Neiman, Hatton, DeChambeau, 6-1, 15-2, 10 and 12. It is what it is. Tell us about the course, Steve.
Yes, Hong Kong Golf Club, Fanling, Hong Kong, 6,710 yards, par 71, 3 par 5s. Fanling was a DP World Tour venue for the Hong Kong Open from 2002 through 2018. The Hong Kong Open has been an Asian Tour event in 2020, 2023, and last year. And then we also had the inaugural Hong Kong Live last year. Classic old design, tight tree-lined fairways, bunkers, ponds, ditches, demands supreme accuracy. The honours board packed with precise drivers. Miguel Angel Jimenez has won 4 times there. That's the sort of player you need. A field of 54 going to post, 3 rounds, no cut, shotgun start at 4:15 a.m. UK time on Friday. Going to be an ITV1 for the first hour or so, I think. And nice to see Leo on ITV1 and on the Live Golf Plus app as well. We're expecting cloudy weather, gentle breezes.
So will it be on ITV1 from 4:15 a.m.?
Yeah. Now I think they're switching to a different ITV channel for the latter part of it.
So when we're applauding it being on terrestrial TV, no one's going to be watching it anyway.
Well, I'll be up at 4:15 a.m. on Friday morning. I mean, it'd be lovely if they shunted what they call it, Great Morning News, whatever they call it. What's the ITV breakfast thing?
Good Morning Britain.
Good Morning Britain, yeah. If Live Golf suddenly shunts Good Morning Britain off the early morning,
well, I'm all for that. Yeah, I'm all for that.
Yeah, I'm all for that. But we may not live to see that day.
Okay, right. Who is the main pick then for the quadruple to bring it home?
Patrick Reed. Come on, Paddy Reed. 33-1, who won the Hong Kong Open at Fanling in fine style at the end of November. Rounds of 65, 68, 59, 66. A 3-shot victory. The 59 did not count for course record purposes because of preferred lies, but it shows how much Reed loves this layout. He held a 15-footer for the 59. A short track. Reed's big problem is a lack of driving distance. It's not a handicap at all this week. He'll be hitting loads of wedges into greens at Fanling. He's always been a master with the wedge in his hand. He's always been deadly on the greens. So if Reed can get his ball in play off the tee, long iron, 3-wood, I expect Reed to make loads of birdies like he did in that Hong Kong Open. We're talking about a major champion here, massively underrated in the market for me. Maybe the bookmakers did rush out their market this week. As you say, it's similar live market every week. They're under pressure like we are this week with 4 tournaments. Reed carded 4 rounds of 68 or better for 15th place on his Hong Kong Open debut in 2023. He shot 3 under par rounds for a mid-division finish in Live Hong Kong last year, then ran away with the Hong Kong Open in November. He started this year on the DP World Tour, you might remember, Dave. 10th in the Dubai Desert Classic, 8th in Ras Al Khaimah, 60th in Bahrain. I think he was getting a bit jaded by that point. Then he played for another fortnight in Live Riyadh and Live Adelaide. Desperately needed a break for me, and he got it after Adelaide. Yeah, that Adelaide event finished on February 16. He's back in action on Friday, which is March 7. So I think Reed's recharged the batteries. I expect him to get back into that bright form he showed early in the year, and he carries plenty of determination, Dave. He's never won a Live individual title. His 4 Aces team has been really successful, but he's still waiting for the individual breakthrough, and he'll know this is a golden opportunity. Hasn't found top gear on the Live circuit this year, but he was responsible for the Live Adelaide highlight. I don't know if you watched much of Live Adelaide, but the highlight was his hole-in-one at the watering hole. The watering hole is this great, it's a bit like the Phoenix Open 16th hole. It's the biggest hole in Live Golf. And Reed got an ace, and it was a joyous moment for Reed in a country that he suffered in the past. He went through hell in the President's Cup there, but he was a hero to all the Aussies in after getting that ace. So I think more joy coming for Reedy in Hong Kong.
Marvellous. And what sort of price would you put him in at then, Steve? He's 33, which does feel a bit big.
Yeah. I think he should be around the 14-1 mark. I think he's one of you've got all these market leaders that have got great respect. None of them appeal to me this week. Tyrrell Hatton was the one I toyed with, but he hasn't played much at Fanling. So all the market leaders, I think, are just humdrum. They don't really excite me. Whereas Reed at 33 seems there's plenty of juice in that. He's the last winner on this golf course.
Yeah. I like it. It's a beautiful little bit of alliteration coming in the headline there as well, surely. Recharged, Reed, ready.
Oh, there you go. That's why they pay you the big bucks.
Do they? Right, okay, right. We've got one more player then. So we're at a double carpet 33-1. Dare I say a bigger price?
Yes. You dare say it. Say it.
It's a bigger price?
Yes, 80-1. Dustin Johnson. Dustin Johnson, who astonishingly got a mention from you earlier in this piece without your knowledge that I was tipping him. Dustin Johnson is 80-1, and the price compels a play because I was close to backing Ben Campbell, who has form figures of 1-2 from the Hong Kong Open on this track. Asian Tour, used to play on the Asian Tour, now he's a liver. But Ben Campbell is 40-1. So you can get double Ben Campbell's price with Dustin Johnson. It makes the decision pretty easy for me. Johnson, two-time major champion, former world number one. Form is temporary, class is permanent. And I like the noises coming out of the Johnson camp. There seems to be a determination to get back to his best this year. He's got the Masters coming up, of course. It's time to knuckle down. Turned 40 last year. I think there's more great golf in him. You must remember that the exemptions that he's got from those majors, they're going to run out soon. He's a Masters player for life, but all the other ones, they're on the verge of ending. So, Johnson's had his fun. Now it's time to knuckle down again. And there's been flashes of vintage Johnson in the first two events of this year. And I think Fanling is actually a fantastic layout for him to get back in contention because DJ became one of the best wedge players in the world. You remember when he was at his peak, his wedge play was sensational. He had his distance control on wedges was awesome. And in the final round of Live Hong Kong, the inaugural Live Hong Kong, he clearly worked out the course because he closed with a 63. Nobody outscored him in the final round of this event last year. He played in the 2015 Hong Kong Open, made his debut at Fanling, and he was a more attacking golfer back then. It's a long time ago, a decade ago, more aggressive, and he missed the cut by a shot. But the 40-year-old Dustin Johnson, much more suited to this challenge. He's quite happy, just long irons off the tee, hit your wedges close. It's right up his street now. One final point, because I know we got to go, but Dustin Johnson's a free agent now. His contract with TaylorMade just ended, so he can use whatever clubs he wants. And I think that'll help his quest for a resurgence. He's keen to get back to his best, and I think he will.
Well, I'm absolutely delighted you put more meat on the bones there. I might have been reeled in just by the fact that you think he's a bit of value, but there's a lot behind that. Motivation as well is something that we're always looking for when backing golfers, and there's plenty of that with DJ, which has not always been the case, it has to be said.
No, absolutely. Yeah. And course suitability, because in the olden days, you wouldn't think Fanling would be ideal for Dustin Johnson. He had a cavalier attitude when he came out. He's one of the biggest hitters, but now his game is about, precision and distance control. And I think he's 80-1 Dustin Johnson. End of story, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Uncanny that I mentioned him earlier on. As you know, I like to come in here not knowing who you're tipping, and I randomly chucked him out. It's meant to be for DJ this week. Imagine that as the final leg of the quadruple, 80-1.
Well, it's funny because I'm a stickler for chronological order, and we have done it in chronological order on the start times.
But it won't finish. Of course, it won't. It's only 3 days.
The end times. So if you want to talk about the quadruple, because obviously I've been thinking about nothing else in the last.
Yes, of course, yeah.
So the order of the quadruple is going to oblige is Patrick Reed will be the first one. Patrick Reed will win first, then Casey Jarvis will win, then Pearson Coody will win, and then the retirement clincher will be Ludwig Aubert. So it'll be good fun watching that.
Have you got any plans to see your family this week, Steve, or is it just going to be 4 golf tournaments?
Of course, Dave. Of course. I've actually got a carrot at the end of the rainbow. Let's create a new. A new one there. The carrot at the end of the rainbow.
Gold. What about a pot of gold? That'll do.
I prefer carrots, mate. I'm a West Country boy. We love carrots down here. I'm a carrot cruncher. But the carrot at the end of the rainbow is that I'm going to the Premier League darts on Thursday. So I've got 3 really tough work next, the 4 golf tours. But I'm going to Premier League darts in Brighton on Thursday, and then I'll catch up with the family over the weekend. But I'm going. I think Luke Humphries is going to win the Premier League darts in Brighton. He got a lovely draw. Luke Little's got a tougher route to the final. So all aboard the cool hand, Luke. In the darts.
Right, it's all happening. Message to come through for the invite for that one actually on Thursday. I'll wait for that message to come through for the invite. It's not a problem. We're going with Humphries, right?
I thought you were going to Romford, Dave. I thought you were going to Romford. Luke Humphries will win the Premier League darts this week.
What's happening? We're now looking at a 5-fold. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, stick week 5 winner Luke Humphries if you want a 5-fold. You won't need that though. You won't need that. I mean, be careful with maximum payouts.
Yes, that's a very good point as well, actually, because some layers will be sort of 100k, and that's your lot.
Yeah, and you could have £1 each way quadruple, and you'll be busting that. So, be aware of maximum payouts. You might want to bust the maximum payout to get more on the place element of your bet. That's entirely up to you. But it's a really, really exciting.
Yeah, but don't come to us. That's one for IBAS and all sorts. If you're talking about payouts, we're just putting the players up for you. You don't have to have a lot on small stakes for huge wins.
Well, absolutely, and you can shop around. You don't have to have all your bet with one bookmaker. The shrewd way of playing it is to bet with loads of bookmakers, and then take the maximum payouts from all of them. So obviously, we're getting ahead of ourselves. It's about 1 billion to 1 that this will happen. But
you've got a dream, Steve.
You've got a dream. You've got a dream. I mean, because there's 4 tournaments, I actually worked out what percentage of the players we've got on our side this week, and that is when you sort of gain an awareness of how challenging it is. I mean, we've had 3 winners this year. March has just started. We should be happy with that because
definitely, mate, absolutely.
Because I looked at the figures. We've got 8 players on our side this week, Dave. We've got 406 opponents, so we've got 1.97% of the players in action. 1.97%. And if I fail to tip a winner, I'll still get people going, "Oh, bloody idiot."
How do they go?
Bloody idiot. But we got 1.97%. But you've got to have a dream. And one day we'll hit this quadruple, and then that'll be that.
Well, it don't come around too often, so you've got to take advantage of it when that opportunity arises. Right, let's have a roundup then of the selections. 2 in each. Joburg Open.
Casey Jarvis, Ugo Casaud.
Puerto Rico Open.
Pearson Coody, Adrien Dumont de Chasseur.
Arnold Palmer Invitational.
Ludwig Aubert, Samuel Burns.
And Live Hong Kong.
Patrick Reed, Dustin Johnson.
Now, we'll always encourage interaction from you guys watching us. I'm really keen to hear from anyone. Should Steve ever mispronounce any of the players, do get straight into the comments to pull him up. That is it. It's going to be a busy week. Next week's going to be a busy one as well, Steve. The players coming up next week.
Yeah, I've never got one wrong. If anyone tells me that Xander Schauffele is not pronounced like that, they're wrong. We got the Players' Championship next week. We got Xander Schauffele back this week, played TGL, and now he's playing his first event of the year in the Arnold Palmer. Yeah, it's all happening, Dave. And
the Fezzy.
The Fezzy. I did. It was a bit too close to pheasant, innit? I always think of like shooting pheasants when you say Fezzy. But yeah, the Fezzy. I like the way you've created a new name for. Are you the only person in the world
that calls banded around for ages?
Has that been banded around? Is it the Fezzy? The Fezzy. Yeah. All right. Well, if
Cheltenham Festival.
Is that right? Yeah. If Ludwig Aubert wins back-to-back Siggies this week, then we'll have lots of money to bet on the Fezzy.
Good stuff. Okay, well, remember to gamble responsibly. Enjoy the golf. Do jump in the comments. Let us know who's in your fourfold. I'd love to know if anyone found a winner from last week. That would be incredible. Give us a mention if you did manage to bag one of those 3-figure victors last week, and we'll see you next time.